Hello there everybody, a very good morning to you all and welcome back to howtotrade.com and welcome back to another one of our live streams here in the trading room and also across our YouTube channel, our Facebook, LinkedIn, X channels as well. Hope everyone has had a good weekend and is ready for what should be a blockbuster week in the markets. We had a really good week last week, lots of nice predictions in the trading room. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can continue that in good vein this week with what is going to be, I think, quite a volatile week and quite a decisive week as well in the market. So we should see hopefully some really nice moves and nice opportunities. As always, when it comes to Monday's stream, same time, always 10 o'clock UK time, I come on and break down the top events of the week and then also my favourite trade ideas of the week as well, and where I think some of the big markets are going to be moving. So if you are out there across any of the channels or in YouTube or on the trading room, pop up and say hello. Are there any markets that anyone wants me to cover for this week? Let me know in the comments section and I'll be able to get that analysis out to you live on the stream as well. Hello to you all in the trading room. Good to see you. Martin174, good morning, and good morning to you, Clone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you all had a great weekend and are ready, and of course ready for a new week in the market. So the way we do this normally is, of course, I can stop at any time if anyone in the chat room has any questions on any particular markets they want me to cover. But if not, I will just go through the economic calendar first of all to break down really Monday to Friday where our biggest moves are going to be, what are the biggest events likely to be, and then really I'll just go through and just prepare myself for the week on the sort of major pairs that I trade, my sort of red list of markets. So we'll do that now. So if we head over to our website and go over to our trading tools, you'll notice we've got our economic calendar which we can view. And the way that I do this is I go to the next 7 days. Suri, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend, and good morning to you, Anna, as well. Thank you very much for the message. It's I go over to the next 7 days and then I filter on impact and I click on high impact. And this is all of the high impact news that we should be expecting to really cause some market moves this week. So let's just have a look to see what we're expecting. So we're on September the 16th, which is a Monday. And as you can see from our economic calendar, there isn't anything high impact to worry about today. Typical sort of Monday trade, really. There's not too much we need to be concerned about. And as we go into tomorrow, it's really the same thing. There isn't anything that we need to be worried about in terms of high impact news events on Tuesday, but it's Wednesday that really the volatility kicks in. If you have a look at Wednesday's trading day, it is absolutely stacked with high impact news events. Oh no, this is mainly one news event which is going to take all of the headlines, and that's the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. We have got in the morning though, for those of you who trade UK markets, those of you that trade the pound for example, and we have got consumer price index data out of the UK. So currently the inflation rate year on year in the UK is at 2.2%, so pretty much at the Bank of England's target now. The estimation is for it to stay at 2.2%. So we'll see if that sort of marries up with the expectations. However, really what's going to cause all of the talking points, all of the headlines is this. Aldolphus, hello, good morning, hope you're great. I'm still riding good on the Euro Yen. Yeah, we've got some really nice moves down, nice yen strength coming through. So hopefully you guys are managing to benefit from not only Euro Yen but also USD Yen on that trend rider. I've got a trend rider stream tomorrow, same time. Tune into that because I'm going to be going through those trend rider opportunities. So yeah, the expectation is for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. Now if we go over to the CME FedWatch tool, hopefully it loads nice and quickly. You can see, which I am surprised by, there is now a 60% or 59% chance, according to this CME FedWatch tool, that we're going to see a 50 basis point rate cut. Yes, last week that was flip-flopped. It was more 59% for 25 basis points. So the current rate is between 525 to 550, 5.5%. So there's a 41% chance that we get a 0.25% cut. But now a 59. There must have been some talk over the weekend from some Federal Reserve members that are really fueling up the chances of a 50 basis point rate cut. I'll be surprised if they do go 50 basis points, but that is why we're seeing that dollar weakness come through. That's why we're seeing the stock market surge so much as well, because we've got inflation falling, the economy's not crashing, and the Fed are going to be cutting. That's the story of this week. We'll see if that one comes through. Dillaby, good morning to you. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Looking forward to a great trading week. I think it's going to be pretty good, because I'm not sure that this is right. But if we do get that 50, I'm intrigued to see the market reaction. I really am. It should be great. Okay, so that's really the interest rate decision itself. But you've got also loads of different other events. So it's not just the interest rate decision that you get. You get the interest rate projections for the second and third year. You get a monetary policy statement. You get economic projections. And you get also a press conference as well, half an hour later. So Jerome Powell will actually come on and answer questions from the press. So all of that is going to fuel up what I think is going to be I was going to say the biggest trading day of the year so far. I would say it's up there in the top 10. So it's going to be really, really, really exciting to trade. In the evening, for those of you looking to trade other markets as well, we've got some action overnight really, but nothing really to worry about. And then the following day, you can see so much going on. Actually having to scroll. That's how much high impact news there is. As we go into Thursday's trade, it all becomes then about the Bank of England. So I'll be covering that event for you live. I think Shane's going to cover the FOMC live. I'm going to do a prep for it, and then I'm going to cover the Bank of England live as it comes out as well. So that interest rate decision coming from the Bank of England. Currently rates are expected to stay at 5%. So we'll see if we get that move, or if they decide to cut. We also get the Monetary Policy Committee who vote on the rate cuts, or whether they want to vote for rate hikes, vote for rate cuts, or vote for rates unchanged. I'll break all of that down for you on the event, on the day of the event as well. So that's going to be volatile for the pound, definitely. And then as we are going to Thursday overnight, massive interest rate decision again, this time from the Bank of Japan. Monetary policy statement, Bank of Japan interest rate decision, 0.15%. You know that they hiked rates last time, which was a bit of a surprise. It's a bit up in the air, that no one really knows what the Bank of Japan are going to do. They're probably going to hold rates where they are, but it's going to be how they communicate any further hikes. That's why we've seen such strength in the Japanese yen and that unwinding of the USD yen carry trade. Will that continue this week? It's going to be fascinating overnight. So if we're holding those trend rider trades or any yen long trades, just be careful, because anything, and I mean anything's on the table here for the Bank of Japan. I'm not quite sure what side they're going to go. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they decide to do come Thursday morning. Ueda will speak in the morning as well. And then we get some, more central bank speech from the Bank of Canada governor, from the ECB president on Thursday. Is that on Thursday? Yeah, I'm getting the dates wrong. Sorry, on Friday morning I meant. Yeah, and then don't worry about the this stuff, because that's on Monday. We're just worried about up to here. So Bank of Japan interest rate decision, retail sales, press conference, Bank of Canada governor, and then the ECB Lagarde speaks as well. So it is, as you can see, an absolutely jam-packed week, full of excitement, full of opportunity, full of volatility, and so we should expect hopefully some good moves this week as well. Okay, let me just check if I've got any questions. For Mothi, I tell hello to you. So the higher the number of the basis points that cut, the weaker the US dollar. That's exactly right, Clone. So a 50 basis point rate cut, that means 0.5%. That's what that means. 25 is 0.25%. You just divide it by 100. And the higher the number of the basis point cut, the weaker the US dollar. Yeah, that's exactly it, basically. That's what we're looking for. So a 50 basis point rate cut, I would expect more dollar weakness. I'm interested to see what a 25 basis point rate cut now looks like for the US dollar, because although it's still a cut, I think attention will then turn to how dovish is Powell. Is he going to push back a lot on the expectation of these rate cuts? Because if he does, then that's then going to be positive for the US dollar as we head into the next few weeks. So the dollar is quite massively oversold at the moment. So it is going to take a really dovish 25 basis point cut or a 50 basis point cut to really continue that dollar weakness, which I think we could get, to be honest. Okay. Good stuff. Right. Let's just quickly have a look then, start off with the US dollar and what my view is for it this week. So I'm on the US dollar, the DXY, which is the basis of a lot of my analysis. And as you can see, it's under heavy pressure, right? You can quite clearly see that. If you're going to mark our fib from there, we never even got up to the 38.2. That's how weak the dollar index has been on a daily time frame, on a 4-hour time frame as well. You can see that basically what's happening here is we created a little bit of a fair value gap. That was basically from a couple of weeks ago. We come and filled that, and really since then it's just been one-way trading. And if you can see where we are right now, I'm obviously going to point out this low because that sits at 100.5. For me, whether we get it straight away, I think that before the dollar rallies again, I'll be surprised if we don't trade near enough around 100 for the DXY. That's sort of my bearish target. So if we do get I'm going to mark that here, either a 50 basis point cut or what I call a dovish 25, then that becomes my sort of target for the US dollar. But if we do get a 25 basis point rate cut and Powell pushes back, then what we could see is instead of the market closing below this low, we might get a liquidity grab. So we might, before the event comes, we might actually take out the lows here, take out all the buyers, and then see some sort of rebound. I can clearly see a fair value gap here at 101.2. But as I always say to everyone, for me, it's all about following the trend. That's why I tend, that's the best way to do it. Just follow what the market structure is telling me, and the market structure at the moment is telling me bearish US dollar. And so until that changes or the story changes, I'll continue to try and sell the US dollar as of right now. And I'm someone who's quite a big bull of the US dollar in general, so it takes a lot for me to say that. How does that equate to some of the market moves in the other markets? Well, obviously gold becomes really, in the spotlight, because a weaker US dollar is we're going to struggle to see much of a pullback here in gold before the next wave higher, in my opinion. In fact, I would say that what we're seeing right now is the market sort of consolidating but grinding higher. So we might see a bit of this, but if we get that 50 basis point rate cut, boom, I can see gold having another leg higher up to 2,600. Again, why would you sell gold? In my opinion, why would you sell gold? I know it's overbought, but there's no evidence to suggest that this bull run in gold is done yet, and you can clearly see that on the daily time frames as well. Yes, we could see a consolidation period now, but I certainly wouldn't be selling it. I'll be waiting for either that consolidation period for the next leg higher, or for a pullback, a deeper retracement from here again to go higher, because the market structure is telling us bullish. Now, if we do get that stronger dollar coming in, there's no reason why we couldn't see gold, come down, maybe down towards 2,530. But again, 2,530 for me is a really key support area. It's the previous resistance that was broken, as well as a really key demand zone as well. For me, that's my favourite, play. But I'm wary at the same time. We might not actually get that far. It may not actually get that far at all. So I am still looking for that, and that's going to be the basis of my analysis this week. It's one of my favourite plays. If we can really get down to this 2530 area, that's going to be a really nice potential support area for me for this gold market. What else have we got? Oh, we got the Nasdaq as well, and the stock market in general. For me, it's been my analysis over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't changed. Fibonacci down into basically our 61.8. Beautiful reaction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 consecutive days of upside. For me, it's all about trying to get in. We've got a little bit of resistance here. For those of you who are brave enough to sell, we might see some resistance here, but I think that resistance is only going to maybe take us down to, God, I don't even know. I think that resistance on the 1 hour time frame is only really going to take us down towards 19,300 at best. Anything deeper than that will be a surprise to me, and therefore I'm looking at 19,300 as a potential support area. These markets are really trending in a strong way, and therefore we can't be too picky about our entries here. So I'm looking for 19,300 in the Nasdaq, because we are currently trading within a 1 hour bearish order block or supply zone, which could push this market lower. But again, I'm also mindful that we might just see this, and then we can use that resistance turn support to potentially push that market higher as well. Similar sort of thing on the S&P 500. Trading in our what I've called a weak bearish order block, and again, I don't really expect it to cause too much of a problem, and that's why I'm looking for something like that. Again, it is going to depend on how the Fed decide to play things this week, but for me, that's the choosing the path of least resistance sort of thing, and that's the way that I'd like to play it this week. I'd just like to try and get in with that momentum if possible. And then finally on crude oil as well, I've actually got a really nice potential opportunity on crude. You can see basically that, as I said last week, this 69.70 area has really been a key support area for crude for quite some time. However, for the first time really in all of that, we've actually had quite a bearish close really below these areas. You can see a lot of wicks in here, but if you zoom in on this is a daily. That was quite a bearish close, full body candle closure. So I've drawn this Fibonacci from 77 down to 65, and you can see right at this 61.8, that's at 72, we've got a really, really nice bearish order block up at that area. So I'm looking for basically that. Whether we get that this week, I'm not too sure, but I've set myself an alert. You can see oil, golden fib, and OB. I've set myself an alert at that area, so hopefully we can get that move. Fingers crossed. Any other markets anyone wants me to run through? Anything else that anyone wants me to talk about? I think I've covered the main ones because I've done the analysis for me. Fomofiat wants to have a look at sterling versus the Canadian dollar. Benengoli wants me to look at euro versus the Australian dollar. No problem. Hello to Jerry. Good to see you. So let's look at those two markets. Pound versus the Canadian dollar. Let's have a look. Okay, so we are running into some... just keeping us on a really high level basis. You can see that we are running into some resistance. Here. There is resistance here within this sort of area between 1.78 and 1.83. I know that's quite a big area. Oh, sorry, I just realised I'm not showing my chart. Quite a lot of resistance around here. You can see that from a broader perspective. However, when you zoom in, I mean, it's hard to ignore market structure again. Look, okay, there was a bit of inducement in here, but boom, there's our break higher, another break higher. There's our higher low, and again, we're now looking, well, we're pretty much already about to print a new higher high on the daily time frame as well, so that's quite significant. Unfortunately, for Ofiat, for me right now, it's not in it. I'm not in a position where, definitely not going to look to sell this market. It looks bullish on all of the time frames. I would wait for this structure to form. So I'd wait for this new daily high to be printed. When we do print that daily high, I'll draw myself a Fibonacci, which basically sits between, you know, that low, that previous low, towards wherever this new high is printed, and then I'll look for, you know, smart money concepts within my golden areas and look to trade that higher. If you want my overall opinion, this looks like a bullish market. It looks to me like it could continue higher. Really nice breakout this morning, which, you know, you can see we're breaking out above some areas which have previously been resistance. There's no reason why I would want to sell this market at all. In fact, what I'd wait for is something like this after the new high has been printed. Okay, you can sell that bit if you want, but half your risk. Euro versus the Australian dollar. Interesting one. Okay, that's our broader fit. Is it a bit clearer on the weekly? Probably is, isn't it? Liquidity grab. Trading back inside the range. In fact, trading right in the middle of the range. I'd still say we're bullish because of this breakout here. This is the weekly time frame, remember. But that buy side liquidity grab's a little bit of an issue, I think. Mini break of high here. Okay, I tell you what, this is an area that I quite like. Down here. Something that looks a little bit like that. Because there's a little bit of a, you know, you can see we're within a bullish outburst, a bullish breakout, displacement, or whatever you want to call it. You know, there's our retracement. But then this mini move that we saw here did break this high, and therefore I would expect to continue that bullish nature. That's probably a little bit too far. Nice reaction from the 50%. Break that down onto the hourly time frame. Let's turn on my Smart Money Concepts indicator. On the 4 hour, anything clear on the 4 hour? Sort of in no man's land at the moment, to be honest with you. I like more upside. I tell you what, we could get it from. We could get it from this area, although I'm not too sure how strong a demand zone that would be. But that could be a nice play. Something that looks a little bit like that. But at the moment, the structure hasn't quite taken shape within that sort of move. But on the daily time frame, you saw that mini move within that big bullish move. I like more upside on Euro versus the Australian dollar from the technicals. Jerry, please have an issue on connecting my demo account to the trading platform. I'll reach out to you after the stream, Jerry, to sort that one out. Is there anything else anyone wants me to run through? I think I've covered most of the markets I want to look at today. I like more cable upside as well. I think we're getting a really nice breakout in cable. I think we could easily come and test 1.33 in the next coming, couple of days, weeks. Probably maybe the end of this week if we're lucky. It depends on this Federal Reserve decision. That really is going to be the one, guys. A lot of what happens here, we may see moves leading up to the event, like we're seeing this morning. If you actually look across the board, you can see we've got quite a lot of market movement. The VIX is up 2%. The dollar's moving quite heavily as well. It's quite unusual that you get these big moves on just a Monday. That makes me think that potentially what we could be seeing is, setting up for a really, really volatile week and hopefully some really nice opportunities. So myself and Shane will be posting market analysis in the trading room all week. Do not worry. I'm going to post some analysis on gold, because I'm going to write an article on it and where I think gold could be going, linking to the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, and I'll post that trade idea in the room as well. And then anything else that crops up, we'll cover it on the streams. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a trend rider stream to have a look at those opportunities, and I know for a fact dollar yen and euro yen are moving really, really nicely, so hopefully, fingers crossed, people who managed to get in on that have had some really, really nice profits. Okay. Great stuff. If anyone does need me, feel free to reach out to me. But until then, let's hope for a very nice trading week. That was your breakdown of what to expect this week. It's all gearing up for Wednesday, which is going to be a huge day. And you can see already the markets are starting to move. Thank you very much. Take care and trade well. Cheers.